My name is Justin Daniel. I'm a third-year law student here at Emory, and after I graduate, I intend to work as a trial attorney. The field placement program at Emory is sort of a way of, while remaining in school and getting school credit, learning, continuing the process of learning about the law in a practice-oriented setting as opposed to a classroom. You get to go out and work with real attorneys that are doing real legal work and experience what it's like to practice law on a day-to-day basis as opposed to learning about what it's going to be like. I've always tried to keep myself kind of active in the practice of law while I've been in law school. Starting with my second semester, I took a work-study program with the DeKalb Volunteer Lawyers Foundation and loved the work that I was doing for them, got involved in some of their pro bono domestic violence work. And in my third year, some things changed with them, and that wasn't going to be an option anymore. And so I started looking how I could continue that work, while still staying in law school, and found out about the field placement program, and that the Atlanta Volunteer Lawyers Foundation, a very similar kind of program but based more in downtown Atlanta, had an opening in their domestic violence project. And so I applied for the position. I was lucky enough to get it. And it's really been an incredible experience. I've now had 3 different clients who were my clients from start to finish, where I did the intake, screened them for services, met with them, helped prepare them for their case, and represented them in court. And actually, so far I've had a pretty good record, and I've gotten all 3 of them protective orders against their abusers. Learning about family law, you kind of learn what ideally the system is supposed to do. And unfortunately, as much as the system tries to protect victims of domestic violence, for example, unfortunately in many ways it falls kind of short. And so learning how to work with the law and using the law to help people is different when you're in a practice setting than you would think it was just learning about it. There are, in the law school world, you think of everybody as having an attorney to represent them and how everybody's going to make their legal arguments, and in practice there aren't really a whole lot of resources to help people out in this kind of context. And so getting to see what it's like for individuals to come into court. A lot of what I did in the field placement program was sitting and observing. Before I ever represented somebody, I sat and watched the domestic violence calendars, and seeing what happens when somebody who doesn't have any legal representation gets into court, and seeing from their perspective what it's like to interact with the legal system is entirely different from the perspective that you get learning about what family law is like in law school. So they're very complementary. On the one hand, I couldn't do anything that I do if I didn't know the law that I learned in the classroom. And on the other hand, if I tried to just take my classroom experience and use that to practice, there would be a big gap in what I'd be able to do.